Respect it, I mean, we network across the globe, cause it's a global market in case you didn't know. And since we all about information flow, let me be the first one to welcome you to Tech Zone with Paul Amadeus Lane. Let's talk tech, cause technology changing the game. It's all good in the hood, it's everywhere. Now let's get to the show, cause we live on air, yeah.
Welcome back to the Tech Zone. I am your czar of technology. Sean, should I continue to say that or not? Just nod and tell me, okay. I'll leave it alone. Welcome back to the Tech Zone. And we kind of teased it earlier. Coming up in our third segment, Emmy Award-winning investigative journalist Chris Hansen from How to Catch a Predator and the new show Crime Watch Daily will be joining me, talking about the new show and how technology is helping bring ones to justice. So you don't want to miss that. Coming up next. But let's talk about marketing now. Marketing. When it comes to your business. You want some help out there, you business owners, you entrepreneurs, and you marketers out there who are marketing for different businesses out there. Well, check this out. When it comes to marketing, we know about the traditional forms of marketing. Sometimes when we go to the mailbox, we get a direct piece of mail. But what if I told you that there is an innovation out there that's marrying the digital side of it with the analytics to the direct mail side? What do you think about that innovation? Well, joining me right now to talk about this wonderful piece of innovation is the CEO of PebblePost, Louis Gersh. He joins me right now on the Tech Zone. Louis, how you doing, my friend?
Doing great. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Hey, great to have you, Louis. So let's talk about PebblePost and what makes this innovation so amazing.
Yeah, so essentially what we figured out how to do was transform real-time online activity into dynamically rendered and personalized pieces of physical direct mail, zip sorted into a postal hub within 12 to 24 hours of every day's online activity, fully automated every day.
Wow, that's truly amazing. Now, you know, in researching your company, there was a term that I was able to find out, and it's called Programmatic Direct Mail. Now, I don't want to mess it up with trying to explain what that means. So, Louis, I'm going to leave it to you, the expert. Why don't you explain what that means?
Sure, I'd appreciate that. So the term programmatic in and of itself, some people think it means automated. It can apply to different things. When you apply it in marketing and programmatic direct mail, what it really means is you have data-driven decisioning with high levels of automation that can continuously enhance the efficiency and the efficacy of a marketer's goals. So that can be applied programmatic in that definition across if you did things on display ads on the web, if you did it via email, and now we brought it from the digital world into the physical world with programmatic direct mail. So you use the online activity and use data-driven decisioning with high levels of automation and be able to send out the direct mail and then continuously enhance the efficiency and efficacy by looping all the results back into the next day's mail. So you create a continuous loop that continuously enhances it for the marketer.
You know what, Louis, I am really in awe that we have reached the point in technology where this can be a reality. Because what did marketers do before this piece of innovation? Did they just kind of do focus groups or anything? What were some of the things that helped them to make sure they had the correct data in marketing the correct customers?
Yeah, great question. So here what we have is we have the two different channels that never spoke to each other. And they behave very differently per your question. In digital, pretty quickly, the whole category is only about 20 years old or so of any maturity. And they learned how to do behavioral targeting and take real-time user-driven segmentation and be able to use that to try and optimize up their campaigns to achieve the marketer's goals. And that's become normal. Just like if you're not doing that, it's table stakes. You're out of business in the digital world. In direct mail, which is call it 60, 70 years old for the modern versions of it. It was much more done by demographic data and regression analysis based on what happened afterwards. But it would take a good 12 to 24 weeks. And then you could only make smaller incremental changes during that elongated time frame. So what we did was combine those two key aspects. So now a marketer can use every day's activity of response and conversion to optimize tomorrow's mail every day. Instead of being 12 to 24 weeks, we enable a marketer to do it every 12 to 24 hours. And the performance is off the charts because of that.
And this kind of helps them to, I guess, divert their resources into something that's going to be beneficial for them instead of trying something over a long period of time and not getting any results.
Yeah, great point. What was before on the direct mail side was capital intensive, right? They'd have to spend a lot of money pre-printing pallets of collateral that would collect dust over in a warehouse, waiting for their enhanced lists of demographics to apply to it. Now they run daily mail and they can optimize it tomorrow. They can pause any day. They can redo their campaigns. We really brought it into the digital world. What we did was, if you think about it, digital programmatic, we added on the component of physical media into home. It's not reinventing direct mail to enhance what direct mailers do. Their standard old school direct mail of demographic lists still exists and will exist for a very long time. What we did was take the best of digital and enable it to be automated into pieces of direct mail for the digital goals and what happens with the best parts of that.
And I'm glad you brought up digital because we wanted to ask your expert opinion when it comes to digital. What do you think the next step is for digital when it comes to digital marketing or just digital analytics? What do you think the next step is?
A lot of some good turmoil. So what's happened, and ironically, in starting this venture, realized they're following an exact parallel path to what happened with original direct mail becoming junk mail. So digital in about 20 years has gone from a couple of hundred companies and a couple of $1 billion to 3,000 companies and about $60 billion. The exact same progression of direct mail from the 1960s or 50s to 60s to the 70s to 80s. And what happened with 3,000 companies, you have point solutions that are fragmented, and that leads to a lack of control of what happens to the consumer at the end of it, from when a marketer says go to a piece of mail is received at home. They start abusing it, doing more and more. Then efficacy falls because they're doing too much of it. What happened was they focus on efficiency. So make it cheaper, unfortunately, so they can do more, and they exacerbate the exact problem that they need to solve. That identical path from years to amount of budget to number of companies to effect on consumer is exactly what's happening to the consumer today. From the mid-1990s, 20 years, to now 2016, you have 3,000 or more companies in digital marketing. You went from a couple of $1 billion to about $60 billion. You have all these point solutions that lost track of what's happening. And you know what would feel like a consumer shouldn't need a restraining order for 6 weeks to look at a pair of socks. And that's essentially where we've gotten, right?
It's true. That is so true. And when it comes to this solution right here, what is the ideal marketer or consumer for, I want to make sure I pronounce it correctly, programmatic direct mail? Did I say it right, Louis?
Yes, you did.
All right, I got it right that time. So who's it targeted for?
It's targeted for digital buyers, for marketers who are looking at consumers who've engaged with their site or their app and raised their hand, said, I'm interested. So you have in what's called the marketing funnel. At the top, you have demand generation, which is things like regular direct mail. Shows up in your home, hopes to spur some interest, generates demand. Here, it's when a consumer initiates a dialogue with a brand, expressing some interest, and the brand is able to continue that dialogue back with the consumer through digital, especially on a one-to-one basis, right? And if they do it in a respectful way, you turn engagement into conversion. And that's really what we're after here and where we focus. Very different than traditional demographic direct mail, which is about demand generation, right? Because it's pre-planned, it's based on lists. They have no real idea if you're interested in buying those shoes or that mountain bike on any given day.
Mm-hmm.
Here we know that from the digital world.
That's so true. And when it comes to, let's say, the time in which we live in, we know fraud is abundant, the rise of fraud, blocking, viewability. How does programmatic direct mail address these concerns for marketers and also the end users as well when it comes to in-home media?
Great point. So when we started looking into building this, it became pretty clear. So we're combining the best of two channels. We're also, some people say you can solve for something like viewability or bots and fraud. Actually, in our world of combining the two, we've made them moot. It's not actually trying to reduce them or solve for them. We joke that bots don't have mailboxes and shop on bonobos, right? Like as something for the category. Everybody has to check their mail, so it's viewable. Ad blockers are immune because we're working off the back-end site data. There's no disruption of user experience, which I think is one of the biggest, right? With the overdoing it of digital ads stalking people everywhere, they're overserved on pages, so you can't read the article you're trying to get to, you can't get the comments on the travel site, whatever it is. That it's stealing people's time, and it's very disrespectful. Here, the mail shows up into home, real citizens with real federal addresses, so they're real people, and you have to sort your mail, and it takes all of a minute. And you put relevant, irrelevant mail in one stack for a recycle bin, and that right stack you put relevant mail in. And that's things you can, must, or want to take care of. And you're able to then go back and do that when your situation's right. It's not somebody disrupting you with a message when your situation's wrong.
Well said. And Louis, to come up with this piece of innovation, was it frustration that maybe you have felt over the years when it comes to this and seeing their problem? Or was it something that a lot of marketers or consumers addressed to your company and you said, you know what, we got to create a solution that can help ease some of the frustration out there?
Yeah, a little bit of both and more opportunity. So I'd done venture capital for about 10 years. I built probably the largest portfolio of digital retargeters on the web with about 25 companies in the portfolio that focused on that area, including the first one in North America to be able to do it. And I saw, number one, the opportunity of programmatic evolution with the data-driven decisioning and the automation and the continuous loop factor really starting to take hold. Number two, I saw the problems hitting digital that were really annoying to me as a consumer, per your comment, even more so as an executive in the industry who helped build a lot of the companies that eventually marketers and publishers enabled to cause these problems for consumers. And that bothered me. But lastly, it was the opportunity of if we could develop an entirely new channel leveraging the best of multiple areas that could defeat the worst of multiple areas, maybe we'd actually, do something a lot better for the world of marketers, the world of consumers, a lot less waste, a lot more efficiency. That it just seemed like a big opportunity.
Well, I definitely thank you for that because I think this is great. When we get bombarded with a lot of digital things out there, it's nice to have different ways to look at different materials because I tell you, sometimes what happens is it could be something that I really, really need. But because I'm programmed in my mind, well, this is junk, delete. I'm glad that this innovation exists because I think a lot of companies out there may be missing out on some customers out there because the way that we're programmed and being bombarded with a lot of material out there. So I thank you very much, Louis, for creating this type of innovation with your team.
Thank you. And it's I have to say it's been very rewarding from the marketers, both in the performance they've received, they're raving about it, and the consumer. We haven't had one complaint, knock on wood, come back because it's so relevant and more respectful from the marketer. I love how when you talk about junk, you then, the way you deal with it is delete, 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 right? Because that form of digital, especially in your inbox, is what junk mail was in the 70s or 80s, right?
Yeah.
And it's pretty neat to be able to see that. We have cards go out on behalf of marketers and tweets show up on Twitter from consumers thanking the marketer for contacting them after the visit with their message or with their offer or with their reminder. It's great to see.
Awesome. And we're talking about the postcards. Now, I see back in the screen, we have pictures of the actual postcards back there, and they look amazing back there. And you also have the catalog, too. What has been some of the feedback from the different marketers out there and the consumers when it comes to the catalog? 'Cause I've seen a screenshot of it, and it is just awesome, if I may say so myself. It's really great what you guys are doing over there.
Thanks. Yeah, this is a giant breakthrough. I don't think the market even has an idea of where it's going to go yet. And quite frankly, we're still learning. And happy to show on here on the screen. So basically, we can take the behavioral activity of a site visit from a brand site and look at behavioral activity. Did somebody browse or keyword search or cart abandon? We can take the product level information of what they looked at. Was it mountain bikes, sleeping bags, hiking boots? And then we can take campaign rules and filters around A/B testing, control groups, audience tagging of things like a VIP customer versus a new customer. And then we can apply geo-targeting filtering in terms of having something green show up in Vermont and something red showing up in Arizona, or whatever the marketer wants. In this case, we can dynamically render an 8-page booklet with educational information as well as product level information, have it personalized, and deliver zip sorted into a postal hub within 48 hours every day. So we can take all that activity across all the brands and all the sites and distill it down and make that 8-page booklet, eventually 16 pages others. What's amazing is the use cases for it. It can be educational materials, new product announcements, SKUs or segments people looked at. We have larger retailers using co-op dollars with brands whose products they carry to be able to go in on the booklet with them. If it's a financial institution, they can have any disclosure content, things like that in it. It comes sticker sealed at the edges to make it compliant that way. It's really cool.
Yeah. And when it comes to the postcards, in direct comparison with the catalog, you can just target more things, more products, and more information. Is that correct?
Yeah, yes. If you think about an example we were giving early on was if you go to a fashion retailer and you're looking at a lot of business clothes and you buy a bunch of shirts but leave a pair or two of pants in the shopping cart, right? You might send a card for pants as a category. If you also happen on that same visit to look at 15-page views of winter wear for skiing but didn't buy any, now that might be a great time to send a catalog, right? So you can look at the different behaviors, the different products, and devise different use cases. We've had some marketers doing some fascinating stuff with both the cards and the catalogs to solve big problems or take advantages of opportunities.
I am just blown away by just the innovation and also the automation out there that can pull this off, because I never thought in a million years, and you yourself being in the industry for many years, did you ever think we would get to the point where we will see something like this?
Actually, I joke around a lot that, if my guidance counselor had told me I'd be getting excited about doing something with technology and direct mail, probably would have smacked him upside the head. I never would have imagined, and what we've learned about truly identifying what are the biggest assets and value drivers in a channel and what are the biggest pain points, and trying to put two together. It's been fascinating experience. We're learning a lot. We have, aside from the catalogs, we have so much more product coming out over the next 12 months. It's really incredible. Can't wait to get it there.
We're definitely looking forward to finding out more about it too. And Lou, before we let you go, you actually got a distinguished award not too long ago in Los Angeles. Please share that with our audience, please.
Happy to do it. Pretty cool. We won a innovation award across omnichannel from the DMA, the Direct Marketing Association, at their annual conference in Los Angeles. We were also there to present a use case with one of our marketers, Box.com, and it was partially around things like that. The use case, which was so cool, was, as you said, there's so much junk coming into your email. People unsubscribe, and then they do go back to the same brand site. They just don't want to be bothered in their inbox. So this woman, Natasha Mehta, had figured out to upload her unsubscribed list, which, if you think about it, for a brand is nothing but dead weight, right? Do anything with it. But if you're back on that brand site, if you're back on Box.com and you're browsing for product, you don't complete a purchase, well, now the marketer has no way to message to you because you unsubscribe from the email. All they can do is chase you around the web with banners, which don't really work that much. So now you can send programmatic direct mail. And she averaged over 28% of all mail sent resulted in a purchase.
Wow.
And returned over 35x her ad spend in terms of revenue. Just amazing results. We love that use case.
That is some great, I guess, ROI too, right? You can make some money. Now, we have some viewers watching, viewers listening. They may be in the marketing business. They may have a business. Who is, or as I can put it, the postcards? Who's that tailor-made for?
So we started this year focused all on retail. Think about a retargeting for retail. So when the consumer's looking at different products and you can discern if they were browsing or if they were cart eventing, uses like that. We started with mid-size to now large retailers. And as we grow, we're moving into travel, hospitality, automotive, education, financial institutions, and also launching early next year a self-serve product for the SMB and local market, so that regardless of size of traffic on a site, the marketer or the proprietor can plug it in and have it automatically run basic campaigns that'll produce this really high ROI for them, based on all the learnings we've gotten to date and what we'll continue to build onto it. So we really believe the self-serve to go to the SMB and local market is also something that provides a lot of value.
And the catalog too, is that for bigger businesses? I know we kind of touched on it before, but just in case somebody tuned in at the tail end of this interview and wondering like, wow, what about the catalog? What's that good for? Because, sometimes we have short attention spans. So explain, who's the catalog good for again?
Yeah, sure. So the programmatic catalogs that dynamically render off the real-time online activity, it's everything from a big box retailer to mid-sized retailer, automotive, education. It provides high brand impact with the ability to put in a lot of tailored, personalized content based on the segment of the products that or services that you offer, or the behavior they did within the segments or products. And you have a direct, essentially, backing up on both, you have a high brand impact piece that behaves like cash flow positive direct response. And those two have never met in this kind of way. And we're seeing that borne out in the performance, the results, and how quickly we're loading up marketers on the platform. It's a true hockey stick of growth we're experiencing.
Now, if ones would like to take advantage of this type of automation, this innovation, what is the best way for them to get in contact with you or other ones out there who are doing this? How can they do that?
So easiest way is hello@PebblePost.com. If they email there, it actually goes to a few of our different departments to make sure we can all grab it and follow up with the person appropriately.
Awesome. Louis, it's been an honor talking to you, my friend, and just your wealth of knowledge when it comes to innovation and technology. You're truly, I believe, one of the pioneers when it comes to marketing. I think in colleges, and I'm just foreseeing the future because sometimes I play a Jedi who can foresee the future. Sometimes I think in marketing classes out there, I think this is going to be a module, many years to come, because I think this is awesome. This is amazing what you guys are doing out there.
Well, thank you for that. We certainly hope so too.
All right, so we'll talk to you soon. Please come back on and join us when you launch other products, because I'm sure everyone out there would like to know what else is going on over at PebblePost.
Great. Sounds great. Happy to do it.
All right. That was Louis Gersh of PebblePost, CEO, joining us, giving us some marketing tips and how technology is changing the game of marketing. When we get back, Chris Hansen joins me here on the Tech Zone. Sean, can you believe that? He's joining us. So we'll be back right after these messages.